Folks who play in the great outdoors are always on the lookout for new and innovative ways to enjoy their outdoor recreation. That's especially true for folks who like to cast baits or lures for big fish. Hi there, I'm Grant McComey, your host for Travel Oregon's Grant's Getaways. And this week we learn how technology and new innovation to a sport have merged with angling passion to bring the sport of fishing to a whole new world. Come on along as we see what it takes and how it's done as we go kayak fishing.
That's all we'll need.
There's no way you'd ever call Mark Veery's fishing boat a heavyweight.
About 50 pounds. Not bad at all.
And yet, Veery and his fishing partner Brian Steves agree the new fishing kayaks have opened up Oregon's waterways like never before. Places like Henry Haig Lake in Washington County.
And there was always a spot somewhere off over there that I wanted to get to. It's just out of reach, and I haven't looked back. I'm actually going to carry your kayak down without the cart, and if you could carry your seat and your life vest, you can set that rod in one of my pole holders.
Steves adds that affordability and the ease of operation make kayak fishing a good fit for the family.
You can kind of slowly paddle up to things, and it's amazing fish that'll just sit there and look at you.
I'm ready, Dad.
I know you are, Owen. Your rig is almost ready too.
Good.
Okay, you ready for a ride? All right, place one forward, one back. Here we go.
Whether backwater sloughs, ponds, lakes, or the big blue wild Pacific Ocean, the compact smooth-sided fishing kayaks allow more anglers to paddle into more places than ever and catch more species too.
It's only been the last 3 or 4 years in Oregon that it's picked up to where you start seeing people on the water every time you go out.
The boats began as scuba dive platforms back in the 70s. Wide and lightweight, the kayaks allowed divers to carry heavy air tanks topside while they explored the water below.
And sturgeon is a guaranteed fish. So
You'll
when
always catch a sturgeon.
That's right.
Now, the modern fishing kayaks have seats that are built on top rather than inside a cockpit. Plus, there's plentiful open space for storage innovation.
I go out in the ocean a lot. I needed something that's waterproof and is secure.
Necessity is the mother of invention. You guys have that figured out.
It's a fun part of kayak fishing.
I wanted to do something that was challenging but also got me some exercise. You can launch it anywhere. You don't need gas. If I don't catch fish, I just tell people I went kayaking for the evening.
Jeff Anderson started kayak fishing 6 years ago. He says the biggest adjustment has been the detailed pre-planning and his onboard organization, especially for safety.
The safety factor is much more apparent. I mean, you're right on the water. Chances are, like, you plan to go swimming to get thrown off your kayak somehow. The colder months, which is often, you want to wear a dry gear, fleece underneath your dry gear. You want to carry a lot of safety items with you. So that's a big adjustment.
Everything has a place in Anderson's boat. He even tethers his fishing rods.
There's probably a couple rods and kayak fisherman gear down at the bottom of these holes right here. It really puts a whole lot more adventure into fishing when you're kind of just right down in the water, and it's it's almost old man in the sea kind of thing, And then when you get a fish to pull you around, that's in and of itself pretty awesome.
Veery carries a handheld VHF radio, and he says anglers are required to have a signaling device like a whistle on board at all times. His boat is checked annually, so to be certified clean of invasive species, and he always wears his PFD.
I think the key thing is just being aware. There's a lot of power boats out here, like you can see. All it takes is a momentary lapse of judgment, and you're over the side of your kayak. So I try to avoid that at all costs. Well, you see the safety flag I fly? That gives us good visibility. I mean, there's always the chance that somebody's not going to be watching what they're doing, and you may get hit. No more so, I think, than on a public street.
Back out on Haig Lake,
We're going to back out here and then turn around, and I think there's some bass up in these bushes.
Mark is showing young Noel the ropes.
Perfect.
He hopes to share his passion for kayak fishing so his son can have more fun and get closer to the great Oregon outdoors.
It's so intimate from the kayak. I mean, everything you do influences whether you're going to get that fish whether you're going to land it or whether you're going to end up swimming home. And I think that makes catching a fish all the more enjoyable because you didn't do it based on a 4-stroke Honda 80, right? You did it under your own power.
Kayak fishing is suitable for folks of all ages and skills. There are some important rules and considerations to keep in mind whenever you put a boat on the water, and we have all those details, directions, and contact information so you can check out kayak fishing. You'll find that information right here on the Travel Oregon website. So until next week, get out here and explore the great Oregon outdoors, perhaps with a paddle and a PFD. And don't forget the fishing rod and reel. Until next week, I'm Grant McComey.